What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're gonna take a look at this, the Peavey Bandit 112 Transtube. Let's do it. Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. As I said, we're taking a look at the Peavey Bandit 112. This is the Transtube or Silver Stripe model as it's commonly known as. This amp has been through many different revisions. The Bandit 112 itself has been just a staple in the practice amp and budget gigging world. This is a 65 watt solid state amp. All the previous iterations were either 65 or 75 watts as far as I am aware. You can see there's a red stripe, there's a silver stripe, there's a newer model that looks kind of like the Valve King design, there's a really old model that looks close to a Peavey Triumph, and then there's an even older one that has the silver stripes down the side. So, I mean, this thing has been through, I'm not sure what the differences are in the circuits between all of them, but I know that it has been through a number of revisions, kind of being updated for each period in Peavey's technology timeline. But as I said, this is the 112 with the Transtube technology built in. We have a Sheffield 1230 speaker in here. Now, if you watch my recent video that I put up on the Peavey Transtube Supreme head, all that head is this amp in a head form. So, therefore, I am actually going to mic the speaker of this combo for this entire demo, as opposed to putting it through an external cabinet, because you guys basically already heard it through a V30 cabinet if you go back and watch my Transtube Supreme video. So therefore, we've got the SM57 on the Sheffield 1230. This is not a bad sounding speaker. I would like to get it in a closed back environment to really see how it sounds, as open backs generally aren't the best for metal and stuff. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be checking out the high gain tones primarily, because that's what I do. This channel does feature a clean tone and it is beautiful. It is a really good sounding clean tone. Would be a great pedal platform, but as I always say in all my videos, this is Belligerent Amateur Central and we don't do cleans here. So, on to the gain. Okay guys, I'm putting everything at noon here, including the presence and the tube dynamics. There is a tube dynamics knob on here that's supposed to emulate the response of a power tube, because this amp does actually have a transformer in it that basically gives you the different impedance curves of a actual tube transformer. So that is something that is very unique to Peavey in this design. We're gonna put it at the 50% level. You've also got a resonance switch here, and then we've got a gain and a thrash switch. We're gonna check out all of those real quick, but I've got the gain down here at 9 o'clock. Everything else is at noon other than the post gain, and we're gonna hear how that sounds. But real quick, if this is your first time here at my channel, what I do is I take awesome high gain amps, overdrives, speakers, and cabinets. I record them with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you guys the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E-stand or thrash riffs and guys who like extremely obnoxious looking guitars, you're in the right place. Hit that like button on your way out and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Thank you. All right, guys, here we go. All right, not a whole lot of gain. Let's turn that up to noon immediately. Okay, still not a lot of gain. Let's push it up to 3 o'clock. All right, we're a little bit light on the highs. Let's kick the presence up. Let's kick the resonance in to get some low end response. That's not bad, honestly. Through the V30s when I was using the Transtube, that had a really bright and spiky frequency that I could not get out of there. Maybe this 1230, maybe the amp was voiced for this speaker a little bit better so the spikiness isn't there, but overall it's a smoother sound and it's not quite as harsh on the ears. So Let's hear how this thing takes an overdrive in this mode real quick, just out of curiosity. Not bad. It's a little bit harsh on that top end and a little bit muffled at the same time, kind of like the Transtube was. Honestly, dialing the highs back seems to have kind of taken some of that out though. That sounds great. That actually sounds really, really good. Alright, so that's honestly a pretty good tone right there. I'm definitely enjoying how that sounds. I really do think that this speaker is meant for this amp. It just kind of balances it out, smooths out that upper mid harshness and kind of makes it sound more smooth and more balanced. Alright guys, so we're going to take that overdrive off. We are going to go click the gain switch on and go back to 9 o'clock. Doesn't seem to have altered the voicing, just seems to have added more gain. So let's bring the gain up to noon. Maybe a little bit darker on the top end than it was before. I had to bring the volume down a little bit. So let's bring those tube dynamics up because that seems to brighten things up a bit. All right, so overall the clarity of this amp, much like the head version, is very, very good. Let's turn that gain all the way up to 3 o'clock. Still seems like it has a little bit of that muffled type thing going on, so let's turn the highs up just a tad more. All right, so there it's a little bit more balanced. Okay, so finally, let's scoop some mids out. Okay, so let's scoop some of the mids out of this thing. Now on the Transtube, I noticed the mids were really, really boxy overall. On this one, it doesn't seem to be quite as much, but again, that could mainly be the speaker. But even so, removing a lot of them, the amp doesn't sound bad with a lot of those mids taken out. It doesn't kind of put a blanket over the speakers like it would on a lot of other amps. In all honesty, it actually kind of sounds a little bit better like that because the boxy mids are not as prevalent and it kind of smooths them out, makes the amp sound a little bit meaner. Okay guys, so last thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna put the mids back up. We're gonna kick the thrash button in, which kind of scoops the mids, adds even more gain, adds some more compression. So let's roll that gain back just a bit and see how it sounds with that thrash button kicked in. All right, that sounds great just like that, honestly. This amp is pretty impressive considering that these are amps that you used to be able to find for $100 on the used market all day long. Now they're $250, and I think that's a little bit closer to where they should be in all honesty for what they are able to accomplish. It sounds a little farty at the moment, but again, we're pushing a lot of low-end resonance through a speaker that is in an open back cabinet, so it's not really able to return quickly because the air pressure is not there to keep it from moving too much. So open backs are always gonna sound fartier and less focused. All right, so let's get even more mids on that. Let's pull the lows back a bit. Let's add some more gain. I'm super impressed with this thing, guys. Again, you know me, I'm a big tube amp guy, but this thing for a nice little solid state practice amp sounds great. It gets plenty loud, so if you needed to take it and use it for a gig, you could absolutely do that. Let's go to drop D real quick. And lastly, let's grab a drop C guitar, play a quick drop C riff, and we'll call it a day. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me today on the Peavey Bandit 112. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comments. I'm very curious to see what you guys heard on your end that I did not hear on mine. If you have this amp, what is your experience with it? Let me know down in the comments. I'll meet you down there and we'll talk about it like always. Again, if you liked the video, please consider hitting the like button on your way out and subscribing so you don't miss any more of my videos. Thanks again for watching. Always happy to have you here. Kyle here again, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.